welcome back to the Instant Analysis, OU Insider Instant Analysis. My name is Brandon Drumm. I'm here with Bryan Clinton, and Oklahoma is, after a 2-game losing streak, they bounced back with a 59-20 romp of West Virginia in what could be only described as probably the most complete game of the season. You have to go back to early October, October 1st, maybe late September, to see Oklahoma play Iowa State and completely and utterly destroy them as well. This time around, Oklahoma, again, beats West Virginia 59-20. Dylan Gabriel, 8 touchdowns. His stat line, I was just going to read. Okay, it's absurd, folks. His stat line reads like something out of a novel, something out of a comic book, to be honest, like something fictitious, if you will. He's 23 of 36, 423 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Passing.
In passing. That's passing. He also has, and I'm trying to find it here.
11 for 50.
Yeah, 11 for 50. Yeah, 11 for 50, 3 scores. In the net, he had 64 gain. He lost he lost 14 yards with sacks, but he also had 3 scores, as Brian astutely said. And then you roll over to Drake Stoops. Drake was phenomenal once again. 10 receptions, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Gavin Sawchuk, which was a career high. And we're just talking about all the career highs right now. Dylan Gabriel, Drake Stoops, and then this guy by the name of Gavin Sawchuk, who we've been saying all season. Well, after week 3, when we knew that he was back and conditioned, which Levy talked about in his presser, he said it took a while for Gavin Sawchuk to get back into shape. If you're an OU Insider member, you knew that because I reported it back in September. When it was like, where is 27? He's not back in shape. He had a hamstring issue. He was struggling to get back in shape. He finally got back in shape. And this dude, the last month, has just gone off. Gone off. And in a great way for Oklahoma. They found their guy.
Yep.
They found their guy. Then they have the number 2 with Tawee Walker, who we all thought was number 1 after the UCF game, correct?
Correct.
Well, no. That is not the case. And the Kansas game, obviously. Nope. It is none other than Gavin Sawchuk. He's going to have quite the career at Oklahoma. Another thing. They got to tight end, Brian. They got to tight end. Another thing that we've talked about, if you've been on OU Insider, every one of the OU Insider mods, myself, Brian, Parker, Jesse, where the hell is freaking Austin Stogner at? Like, the dude's wide open all the time. Well, he was wide open and got hit today, and the offense looked, every time he's had 4 targets or more and at least 3 receptions or more this year, the offense has been phenomenal.
Yep, it explodes every time.
Phenomenal. So, great offensive day. Then you flip over to this defensive stuff right here. And Danny Stutzman's back. And newsflash, the defense is good when 28's in there leading it. Shocker, right?
Shocker.
The shocker of all shockers. The defense is good when Peyton Bowen plays more than 3 snaps.
Yeah.
Right?
Huge difference.
Huge difference. The defense is good when Stutzman and Kip Lewis are on the field at the same time. Whoa.
That's a scary
Another
combo.
thing that we all said needed to happen is taking place. Hey, stick with OU Insider. Stick with OU Insider. We'll get you right football wise. We'll get you right. No, I kid. Seriously. It was a really good game, all across the board for Oklahoma, defensively, offensively. What's your biggest takeaway from today?
Coming into this game, I was pretty confident that this was probably the toughest matchup, despite the situations. On a neutral field, this game over the last 3, West Virginia presented some issues that I thought they might be able to take advantage of the Oklahoma team that we've seen over the last few weeks. The physicality that they use in the running game, the boot action that they run off of that, especially with a guy like Garrett Green who's got wheels. I mean, he's a legit 4-5 guy. I mean, he can go. And I was really concerned with that coming into this game, but Oklahoma was more physical at the point of attack again, and we haven't been able to say that for several weeks. And all you have to look at is the tackles for loss. Oklahoma has 8 tackles for loss again tonight. They had 6 over the last 2 games combined. It just the defense felt like it was more not prepared, but just ready for the moment. There was the bleeding stopped after a big play. The defensive secondary found ways not to let big plays pile up on them. They made West Virginia earn every point that they had, and so I think it was huge. And again, for them to have another 4th down stop down here in the end zone, 4th and goal stop, it just goes to show you that this team, as Drake Stoops said earlier this week, there's still plenty to play for, and this team certainly looked like they had a lot to play for tonight. So,
yeah, they had 8 tackle for losses, which, again, they didn't get a sack, which if you go to OU Insider message board, the VIP board, there's already people saying, defense played great, but no sack. Look, something people need to understand, if you go back and you watch the game, how many guys were back blocking for West Virginia on each and every play? Sometimes 6, sometimes 7.
Yeah.
They didn't run a lot of 4, 5 wide receiver sets, and if they did, they motioned into more of a compact formation to kind of make the defensive line for Oklahoma have to traverse through more crap.
Right.
More trash, if you will. So you got to get away from all that and kind of understand that what Oklahoma did defensively, the tackles for losses, they're probably going to move back up into the top 5 in tackles for losses again after tonight. They played a phenomenal game. 2 interceptions.
Yep.
Jacoby Johnson ending the game over there. Mustang, Oklahoma, baby. What? Bronco pride. All around, what a night for Oklahoma. For me, I think the one thing I look at with this team is they played with a controlled intensity. And I think that is what changed. They got outside of themselves after Texas, starting with UCF, and it culminated in Kansas and then Oklahoma State, where mistakes, the emotion, all that. There were 2 times that emotion got ahead of them. Drake Stoops spiking the ball, he apologized for, and then obviously McKay Matwire over there after a guy stood on top of Drake and allegedly did some things to Drake as he stood on top, which made Dylan Gabriel come over there. He gets shoved to the ground. You know, Jake Sexton comes in there and finishes number 12 off. And then after on the ensuing extra point, McKay Matwire goes out of his way to try to bury him. And obviously gets called for a penalty. Somehow, some way he got ejected. We don't know. I don't understand the ejection. Because all he did was point that the guy hit him.
Right.
And then he walked away. But they were trying to control the game. The refs didn't want it to get out of hand late. Totally understand that. But it was a controlled intensity. The emotions, overflowed a couple times, but for the most part, they used the emotion defensively. They used the emotion offensively. You saw the ground and pound with Dylan Gabriel and Gavin Sawchuk just going. And then Austin Stogner in the short yardage tight end, making big plays on that. It was, overall for me, I think it was just what you look for in an offense and a defense. That's what you saw tonight.
Yep.
And if Oklahoma plays like that the rest of the year, in Provo next week at 10 a.m., it's an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Is it really?
It means 10 It's face. Yes, 10 a.m. kickoff, folks.
Oh, my gosh.
Breaking news.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I just got text. That's why I looked down at my text in the middle of this.
Oh, man.
And then, obviously, TCU at home. I think you end up 10-2, and you're right on the cusp with the potential to play in the Big 12 title, which it's not out of the question.
No, it's not.
And I think that helped. I think watching Oklahoma State go down, watching Kansas go down,
That's putting it lightly.
I think that helped Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think their focus
Yeah.
was back where it needed to be. They know they sort of control their own destiny. They need a little help.
One loss from
One
Texas.
loss from either Texas or Oklahoma State,
Yep.
and you're good as gold.
Yep.
Can that happen out of the next 4 games between the two? We'll see. Don't know. But you have more than a puncher's chance at this point.
Absolutely.
And Venables talked about that. Just, look, they're still in control over what they want to be control over. Their goals are still in reach.
Right.
And for me, I thought that was great. I think you saw leadership today, too.
Absolutely.
Huge leadership.
And I'll be one to say,
which was questioned the last 2
it
weeks.
was.
Yep.
What I saw from Dylan Gabriel down here in the end zone, some people may not like that, but if what happened truly, if what they say transpired when Drake was on the ground actually happened, I like that from Dylan, to stand up for your guy. I know that you've got to be composed as a leader of this football team, but that was a moment where it felt like they were showing that there's still pride to what they're doing here. There's still a lot to play for, and
Drake said so.
And again, that's just those little situations like that. It just goes to show you that there's guys out there, there's people out there that don't feel like Dylan is the right guy to lead this team. I think that was a moment where you knew exactly where everybody on this team stands as far as Dylan leadership goes and why they stand that way, and he showed that tonight. So. I was, quite frankly, I was proud that he ran in there and took care of what he felt like he needed to take care of. Now, moving forward, you do have to be better. You can't, you can't be doing that when emotions get high. But good stuff from him. And I want to round something out on the defensive side of the ball with the sacks. I have a word to say about this. If the sack numbers aren't there, and you say that there's no pass rush because the sack numbers aren't there, look no further than the 17 interceptions on the year.
Yeah.
If you have 17 interceptions, you're affecting the passer.
Yes.
I mean, you don't just luck into 17 interceptions on the year. You're playing Division I football. You're not going to luck into that many interceptions.
Yeah.
You're affecting the passer. Whether or not the sack numbers are showing, I don't know what to tell you. The quarterback hurries are there. The sack numbers may not be, but the interceptions certainly are. So you've got to feel good about the performance tonight. I mean, this was – I can say with confidence that whenever I open up Twitter tonight before I go to bed, I'm not going to have to deal with armchair offensive coordinators this week.
Yeah, you will.
Well, I'll choose not to. Let's put it that way. I'll choose not to. I can ignore them for 24 hours this week because what you just saw Jeff Levy do was it was a really good game for everybody around. It was fantastic. So using the most versatile piece of the offense in Austin Stogner, and when I say that, the tight end is just it's been underused to this point. And as you pointed out, in the big games when Oklahoma's offense comes to life, he's been used, and that was the case again tonight.
4 catches against Texas.
Yep.
They were in big, big moments.
4 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
Giggity. Yeah. So, I guess all in all, this game was needed. You know what? Another thing I think that's under talked about is, and not so much for the fan base and not so much nationally, but I think within the team aspect of it all, and not a lot of people asked the players this tonight. Because I ended up asking them. I said, "What did the Drake?" No, they say they don't pay attention to the social media. Levy said all that, blah 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 blah. But I said, but you had to have seen Drake Stoops' comments go viral.
Yep.
And to a man, everyone said that did galvanize us because he spoke for us as a team, not just himself individually, but the whole team. They all felt that way. They all felt there was something more to fight for than just going to a bowl game. There was pride for the university. There was a lot of things. And I think that rolls back into the culture aspect of what Venables is building. And so I think Oklahoma fans can feel prideful about that. I think they should feel good about that because and I don't want to bash on Team 128 a whole lot. after what happened in the last 2 weeks, they fold last year. They fold.
Yeah.
Like a lawn chair. They
Yeah.
fold. They came out this week, and they were throwing punches, haymakers from the start. Yeah, West Virginia had a really good drive, but once Oklahoma got settled in, their emotions got back in check. They took control. You saw it on that offensive drive. You're like,
Yes.
I turned to Jesse. I was like, damn. Like, that was impressive on that first
It was
drive.
an answer.
It was an answer, and then they turned right back around defensively and shut them down. And all you got to do is go look at that goal line stand. And Kendall Dolby said it best. He said, I said, so talk about why have you guys been so great on these goal line stands this year? And he said, pride. He said, Coach Venables
That's
puts us in the worst situations through practice all week. He said, that was nothing compared to what they get put through. The ringer Venables puts them through is so much harder than a goal line stand. And he said, each stop, more confidence, more confidence, more confidence, to where it culminated in that fourth down stop, that shuffle pass. That was a great call. But Kip Lewis came in there and just blew that sucker up.
Yep.
So, I mean, he just finds the ball. I call him Ante Jones 2.0. And if anybody remembers Ante Jones, undersized linebacker, cheetah, whatever you want to call Ante Jones, he played all over the field. One of the most underrated offensive or Oklahoma Sooners of all time. And that is per Mike Houck, who is an OU historian, the Sooners SID. So I'm telling y'all, Kip Lewis right now early in his career, his size, the way he plays, his speed, his ferocity, he's Ante Jones all over again. And you're going to win a lot of games with an Ante Jones on the team. So, again, 59-20 tonight. We're going to have a lot more to talk about on the podcast. What OU has moving forward. The Oklahoma State game, what that might do for Oklahoma moving forward. Can Oklahoma State lose against Houston? Can they lose? I think they got BYU at home. After that, can Texas lose at Iowa State? Can Texas Tech upset them? There's a lot of things going on here, and we're going to have it all for you on the OU Insider Under the Visor post-game podcast. And we got some great notes for you guys on recruiting on OU Insider. I dropped it in the middle of the game. You're going to love it. Some big name players were on campus, and we have some updated notes of where Oklahoma stands and where things are trending on OU Insider VIP. So make sure you join. $9.99 a month, $99.99 for a whole year. It'll get you all the way through the first SEC season if you join now for a whole year.
Man.
And that is big time. Alabama game 1, baby. Alabama game 1. Anyways, Oklahoma 8-2 on the season. 59-20 win over West Virginia. For Bryan Clinton, my name is Brandon Drumm. We'll see you guys on the podcast. We'll see you guys over on OU Insider.